Magandang umaga, nagbabalik ang PTV News Break. Ipinagpatuloy ang isinasagawang airstrikes ng Armed Forces of the Philippines laban sa Maute Terror Group sa Marawi City matapos ang 4 na oras na tigil putukan sa pagitan ng gobyerno at ng teroristang grupo upang bigyan daan ang pagliligtas sa mga natrap na sibilyan. Ayon kay Presidential Advisor on the Peace Process, Assistant Secretary Dixon Hermoso, nanguna sa pagsasagawa ng rescue operations ang Moro Islamic Liberation Front kung saan umabot sa mahigit 100 sibilyan ang nailikas mula sa liblib na lugar ng Marawi. Nang matapos ang itinakdang oras ay muling ipinagpatuloy ng AFP ang opensiba at mga airstrikes laban sa bandidong Maute upang tuluyang matuldukan ang kanilang paghahasik ng karahasan sa Marawi.
Pero pwede nga tayo tumingin. Tawagan mo. Inalis kami, hindi kami makalapit. Pero kuha dito from ano, mas mataas na dito. Pero pwede nga tayo tumingin. Tawagan mo. Inalis kami, hindi kami makalapit. Pero kuha dito from ano, mas mataas na dito.
Sa kasagsagan nito, nadampot ng mga sundalo ang sugatang lalaki na sinasabing miyembro ng Maute Group. Sa eksklusibong video na ito, makikitang nilalapatan pa ng paunang lunas ng mga sundalo ang sospek.
Kung meron mang mga aresto na nangyayari, ito ay dinadaan natin sa judicial process. Meron tayong proseso nito. Ito ay binibigay natin sa PNP, binibigay natin sa ating mga partner agency para kandakan po ng investigation. At kung sila ay napatunayan, nakaugnayan sila, ay sila po nagkakaroon po ng case.
Ilang matataas na kalibre din ng baril ang na-recover ng Philippine Marines sa mga bahay na pinagkutaan ng mga kalaban. Nahuli rin ang 2 preso na pinatakas ng Maute Group mula sa BJMP noong Mayo 30. Palabas na raw ng Marawi ang dalawa nang maharang sa checkpoint ng mga otoridad.
Hindi kanina nga lang ay nakita natin na lumilipad na naman sa ibabaw ng Marawi City itong mga FA-50 jets ng gobyerno at naglalaglag pa rin ng bomba dito sa city center ng Marawi City. Ibig sabihin lang yan, talagang tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang bakbakan ng mga sundalo at miyembro ng ISIS dito sa Marawi City. Umabot na nga tayo sa ika-14 na araw ng krisis dito at hindi pa rin tinitigilan ng pwersa ng gobyerno ang mga kalaban na patuloy na hawak itong sentro ng syudad. Kahapon, kahit may tinatawag na humanitarian ceasefire sa loob ng 4 na oras, tuloy pa rin yung narinig dating putukan. Sabi ni Lieutenant Colonel Joar Herrera, ang tagapagsalita ng Joint Task Force Marawi na unang nagpaputok ang mga miyembro ng Maute. Nangyari daw ito habang ongoing yung rescue operations. Nangakulugan daw na hindi mapagkakatiwalaan at walang intensyon na tumupad sa usapan ng mga terorista. Ayon kay Herrera, sa loob ng 4 na oras na hindi pumutok ang mga pwersa ng gobyerno, maaaring nakapaghanap na ng pagkain at bala at nakapag-consolidate na din ng pwersa itong mga Maute. Pero ayon kay Herrera, may mga bagay na hindi nila kontrolado at handa naman silang sumunod basta para sa kapakanan ng sibilyan. May nakuha daw na impormasyon ng mga sundalo na inihiwalay ng miyembro ng Maute ang mga Kristiyano na nasa loob ng conflict zone at pawang mga Muslim lang na pinayagang makalabas. Ayon kay Herrera, pinaabot daw nila itong concern na ito sa OPAC at sa MILF. Thank you.
George, I see. Okay, so you said that 3 barangays are still being held by members of, how do you call them again, sir? Maute?
Maute ISIS Daesh.
Daesh. Okay. The Maute ISIS Daesh group. 3 barangays still being held. How strategic are these, sir? Just for the public who is not very much aware of Marawi.
Well, some of these areas are proximate to the madrasas and the mosque. So that's how they have planned their withdrawal to rally around all of these places of religious worship. Okay. So we're very careful about that. The most important consideration and most important guideline that has been set by the Chief of Staff to our troops is to ensure the safety of civilians. That is primordial. Our ground commanders have strict instructions that under no certain circumstances should we apply military force if there are civilians in the area, and to ensure first their safe rescue before we apply whatever we need to.
Sir, how many civilians are there still in the battleground? More or less.
The estimate of the local government that we have previously was that there were about 2,000 who were still inside, trapped within the interior of the city. In the progress that we have made since then, there are about 1,467, if I'm not mistaken, of civilians rescued this past few days. So if we rely on the LGU's count, there are about 500
to 600
more. Yes, 500 to 600.
Still trapped.
Still trapped, still there, and low on food, low on water.
Sir, very quickly, can we talk about casualties, sir, before we go on a break?
The last figures we had for casualties is on the part of the Daesh, ISIS Maute Daesh group. They have about 120 killed, and these are all confirmed through body count, meaning recovered bodies, and eyewitness accounts. We are still waiting for the validated numbers that need to come in, because in the past few days we have had opportunities to recover certain buildings that they were holding before and found certain number of bodies, cadavers, with their arms. So the number of firearms continues to grow, recovered. The number of bodies that are related to the resistance also continues to grow. So let's wait for those numbers. On the part of the armed forces, we have had 38 killed in action, and in the last account, we have over 80 wounded, and we still need to get those validated numbers from our ground troops.
So 38 is combined police and military?
Yes, yes.
And what about civilians?
Civilians confirmed to have been killed because of the atrocities committed by this group has been 20.
Does this mean, Mr. President, that we're negotiating now with the Maute group?
No, I am not ready to negotiate with terrorists. We had a talk last week, and Chairman Murad of the MNLF went there and offered to help open peace channels so that the residents there who are trapped now can go out and out of the harm's way. That was what we agreed upon, and I said we can talk to anybody and everybody, including the Maute. They are the ones fighting there. They are the ones getting trouble there. So it is up to them to allow government and the other NGOs to go inside, including the church, to rescue some of the helpless civilians there. But talking about law and order, that's far from my mind. I will also inform you that I had a late talk last night with Nur Miswari, and he has offered to ask his troops of the MNLF, the able-bodied ones still, to fight with government, and I accepted the offer. We will have something like new integris. We have been always accepting integris from the MNLF, and so far, walang problema. He has offered 2,000, and I said I'm willing to take in 2,000 as regular troops of the armed forces of the government. That offer also goes to the NPAs. Kayong ayaw na ninyo mag-away, I'm not asking you to join my force. You just surrender, and I'll give you the houses, and I will expand the land reform program of the government. Ako na yung maghanap ng pera. Yung gustong magsundalo, kung ano yung ranggo mo doon, yun ang ranggo mo dito sa ano. I'm not taking yung mga generals. When yung the rank and file, if they desire to surrender and be with to fight with the government forces, I am taking them in as soldiers of the Republic. Sinora offered tree, sabi ko, well, baka marami man. Initially, I would need billions for that. Just to prepare them, train them. Pero sa gira, wala na to. I do not have to train them to go to war. They are at war with us. But if they decide to side with us, then maybe I can solve a little bit of the problem.
Sir, just as a follow-up dun sa Maute, sir, I'm sorry. Can you tell us a little bit about the mechanism used? And does this mean na pwede na rin pong mag-demand yung terrorists in Marawi right now? Kasi yun nga, sir, negotiations daw yung nangyayari po.
You look, the only reason why this war has dragged on for several weeks is that government is always limited and curtailed. We cannot go in firing our weapons at once because we do not want to hurt civilians. That is the last thing that we would like to do. Sila, kung magpaputok sila ng mortar, they don't bother to look what's behind, what's on the side. Ang gobyerno, hindi. You know, I have already 12, rather. The arrivals of the 4, that completes the 12 modernization of the Air Force. 12 jets, new ones. I can end this war in 24 hours. All I have to do is to order the Air Force to release all their bombs and their arsenal and their ordnance. And I will level everything down there on the ground. But I cannot do that. We are a government bound by civilized rules. Kaya kong tapusin yan 24 oras. Ihulog ko ng lahat yung bomba dyan. But I cannot do it. So we have to, you know, dahan-dahan ka, you have to go to the mountains and make sure that nobody is behind or on the side to do some collateral damage. Kasi pagka ganon, talo tayo. If we kill a lot of civilians more than the rebels, we lose the fight. Because we lose the moral ascendancy. Because it says that we do not care about lives, about human rights and all.